Revealed, how an amazing 3 million ring led to an unexpected, life-changing family reunion. Sarah stood in the attic, a small box of her late grandmother's belongings sprawled in front of her, dust motes dancing in the stray beams of sunlight. She rummaged through the old trinkets and faded photographs, each one igniting a flicker of memory in her heart. It was a world once filled with laughter and stories, now shrouded in silence. Then she saw it, the heirloom ring, nestled among the shadows. Its stunning sparkle caught her eye like a beacon, its intricate design wrapped around the promise of wealth and legacy. Worth an astonishing 3 million, it glimmered with possibilities. Her heart raced as she cradled the ring in her palm, emotions swirling, joy, confusion, hope. This ring wasn't just money, it was a connection to her family's past, a line back to her grandfather, a decorated veteran whose tales of courage still echoed in her mind. Could this be the key to a brighter future for her spirited son, Tyler? She felt an overwhelming urge to chase that dream, yet a nagging doubt pulled at her. Was she ready to let go of what the ring truly represented? The moment was electrifying yet terrifying. As she delved deeper into the stories behind each piece of her grandmother's life, dark secrets began to emerge. Memories of her mother's estrangement from the family swirled like storm clouds. She uncovered a legacy not just of jewels, but of heartbreak and betrayal, a struggle that had fractured the very fabric of her family for decades. Could this ring be the catalyst that forced her to confront the wounds she thought had healed? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With the news of the ring spreading like wildfire through their small town, Sarah felt a whirlwind of attention, laden with both support and whispers of curiosity. Strangers she hardly knew offered encouragement, friends at the diner rallied for her, creating a cocoon of community around her. But with it came the urgency of long-lost family members reaching out, including her estranged mother, each looking at her as if she held the key to a healing future. At that moment, standing in the attic filled with ghosts of the past, Sarah's heart pounded as she prepared to make what suddenly felt like a life-altering decision. Would she sell the ring, believing it to be their ticket to a better life? Or could this treasure unveil a path toward forgiveness and reclaiming what had long been lost? Just as the weight of her choice loomed large, there came a soft knock at the attic door. Sarah's breath caught. Could it be her mother? In the thick silence, she felt the unmistakable pulse of fate whispering, urging her to find the truth buried within the family history. As she turned to answer, she felt a shift, a blend of hope and despair, ready to unravel. Would the eye of the storm bring disarray or reconciliation? Sarah opened the door slowly, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. The sunlight streamed in behind her, casting a warm halo around the figure on the other side. It was her mother, Laura, looking both familiar and foreign, a blend of the woman she had once known and the stranger who had hurt her so deeply. Sarah, her mother's voice trembled. I heard you found something important. Instantly, Sarah's mind churned. The ring? Or was it something else, the history that had kept them apart? The unresolved pain simmered just below the surface, threatening to erupt. But seeing her mother was like looking at a mirror that reflected lost years. Laura looked older, lines etched deeply from the weight of regret. I didn't think you'd come. Sarah was surprised at how steady her voice sounded, even though her insides felt like a tangled mess. I had to, Laura said, her blue eyes shimmering with emotion. I saw what they were saying in town. I didn't want to miss a chance to talk about everything. They both stood there, the attic heavy with memories. The air crackled as silence stretched painfully between them. Each second felt like an eternity, laden with words unspoken. Finally, Sarah stepped back to let her mother into the attic. Why now? Why after all this time? She asked, trying to keep her voice cool but unable to prevent the rage and hurt from seeping through. Laura hesitated, her eyes darting around the attic. I was ashamed. When you reached out to your grandmother for help, her voice broke. I didn't know how to face you, to face the choices I made. Sarah's throat tightened. Choices? You mean abandoning me? Us? The words hung in the air, sharp and raw. Laura sighed, running a hand through her hair. I was scared. I thought I was protecting you. But really? I was just running away from my own demons. A knot formed in Sarah's stomach. This was all too familiar, a cycle of hurt leading to more hurt. But deep down, she hoped for something different this time. Perhaps the ring could help, not just as a path forward but as a bridge. How did you know about the ring? Sarah asked, shifting her focus to a different thread of their conversation. I saw Mom's old documents after she passed away, Laura admitted, her voice barely a whisper. She always spoke of it as if it were a blessing, but I feared it could bring nothing but strife. Understanding flickered in Sarah's mind. Her mother had been just as entangled in the family drama. Maybe it can be both. A blessing and a curse, Sarah said softly, hoping to find common ground. But it could also be the path to healing, if we let it. Laura's eyes lingered on the ring that sat gleaming on the old wooden trunk, and for the first time, Sarah saw a hint of hope there. If you're willing to share that journey, I'd like to try. As they moved closer together to examine the ring, time felt fragile, like it was hanging by a thread. But in that shared moment, there was also a ghost of reconciliation waiting to be embraced. Just then, Sarah's phone buzzed with a message, the shrill vibration severing the moment. She glanced at it quickly, an unknown number asking to discuss her inheritance, requesting a family meeting. A chill wrapped around her heart. Mom, we may not be done, she said breathlessly, looking back at Laura. I think we just opened a floodgate. The storm was brewing anew, and Sarah could only wonder what waves it might bring. Would this take them to a brighter future or draw them deeper into the past? The air grew thick with tension as Sarah stared at her phone. Her heart raced, fueled by a mix of anxiety and anticipation. The message felt weighty, as if it were a letter filled with secrets that could unravel everything she knew about herself, her family, and the history buried within them. Who is it? Laura's voice was laced with worry, pulling Sarah from her thoughts. Just someone about the inheritance, she replied, trying to gauge her mother's reaction. There were so many layers to this conversation, and she didn't want to overwhelm them both in one breath. Your inheritance? Laura's gaze sharpened, shadows of concern lining her features. What do they want? I don't know yet, Sarah said, her pulse still racing. The unknown sender's request for a family meeting sent shivers down her spine. It could only mean one thing, trouble. What if they want to take the ring away? Laura asked, interrupting Sarah's spiraling thoughts. That's part of your grandmother's legacy. Our legacy. Maybe it doesn't have to be about that. Maybe we could finally figure out what that legacy really means, Sarah said, a flicker of hope igniting within her. For the both of us. Laura's eyes glistened with unshed tears. You don't understand. People might see us as undeserving. I don't want to hurt you again. I'm here now, Mom. Maybe we can break that cycle. The ring is our chance to understand everything, Sarah insisted. She had to believe this was the turning point. That ring, Laura said hesitantly, it's been a part of our curse, but it could be so much more. Sarah nodded, feeling the palpable weight of her mother's words. It wasn't just a piece of jewelry, it was a symbol of their fractured family and unresolved history. What if it held the key to breaking free from the past, a tool for healing? With a deep breath, Sarah took a step toward the trunk where the ring lay. It gleamed like a beacon, full of promise, but also haunted by their shared pain. She picked it up, feeling its cool metal against her skin. Let us not run away this time. We need to face whatever comes, together. Laura stepped closer, her expression a tentative blend of fear and hope. I want that too. I want to do right by you. As they stood shoulder to shoulder, Sarah felt a fragile bond beginning to mend the years of hurt. But looking down at the ring, the familiar unease crawled back up her spine. They were skirting an unknown territory. The family meeting could change everything good or bad. Before she could voice her thoughts, Laura's phone chimed, cutting through the charged atmosphere. "It's about your grandmother's estate," Laura replied, her voice trembling. "This feels too sudden," Sarah said, her stomach twisting. "What if it's bad news? It could also be good." Laura placed her hand on Sarah's back, a surprisingly comforting gesture. "Let us take that leap. Whatever they want, we can face it together." Just as Sarah opened her mouth to agree, her phone buzzed again, a harsh reminder of their present reality. "I'm calling them," she declared, firm and resolute. As she dialed the number, fear and excitement churned in her stomach. Would they finally understand their legacy? Or would it just add another layer of chaos? The sound of the ringing phone echoed, amplifying their shared uncertainty. Deep down, both women realized this was the moment they had been waiting for, but they also understood it could lead to darker waters. Would their potential reunion blossom into something beautiful, or would it threaten to rip their fragile bond apart? The call connected, and a smooth voice on the other end greeted her with, "Sarah? Thank you for reaching out. We need to talk about the estate." She took a deep breath, locking eyes with Laura, and prepared to face whatever came next. What awaited them on the other side of this conversation could reshape their futures forever. The smooth voice on the other end sent chills down Sarah's spine. "We're discussing your grandmother's estate, and it's crucial that we meet as soon as possible." Every word dripped with a weight that felt heavier than the ring in her hand. "Where? When?" Sarah asked, her heart pounding like a drum. "The family estate in Pine Valley. Tomorrow at noon. It's important you come." The line buzzed with anticipation, but a knot twisted in Sarah's stomach. Pine Valley. The very mention brought back memories of summer visits, laughter, and secrets hidden within the old walls. "Okay. We'll be there," she replied, her voice steadier than she felt. As she hung up, both excitement and dread swirled within her. Laura stood watching her, an anxious expression replacing the flicker of hope. "What did they say?" "They want us to meet," Sarah said, still catching her breath. "Tomorrow." Laura's frown deepened. "So soon? What if it's a trap? What if they want to tear us apart?" Sarah shook her head. "We can't back down now. We need to know what this is all about." She held the ring tightly, feeling its cool metal warm beneath her fingers. A chance. A chance to rewrite their story. But the specter of fear lingered in the corners of her mind, whispering of old wounds and broken trust. "Can we go now?" Laura asked, her voice almost pleading. "Not now. We need to plan," Sarah said, trying to sound more confident than she felt. They moved toward the kitchen, the air thick with unspoken worries. As they sat at the table, Laura poured 2 cups of tea, both women lost in thought. The steam curled up, dissipating into the uncertainties hanging between them. "Do you remember the stories Grandma used to tell us about her youth?" Sarah asked, thinking back on the details that seemed so insignificant then but felt weighty now. Laura nodded. Her adventures, they often felt like fairy tales. Exactly. But there's always a darkness in fairy tales, isn't there? The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. What if there's more to our family history than we know? Laura's hands trembled slightly as she grasped her cup. "You think maybe those tales were hiding something deeper? Something connected to that ring?" A moment of silence lingered, the kind that often precedes the revelation of a long-held secret. "But what if it's a curse?" Laura whispered. "What if the legacy is something we didn't want to inherit?" Sarah couldn't shake the doubt that twisted in her chest. They had spent years running from their past, but tomorrow, as they step back into Pine Valley, they confront it head-on. A chance to reclaim what was theirs, a chance to heal. "We can't keep living in fear," Sarah urged, her voice gaining strength. "Whatever it is, we'll handle it together." Laura nodded, though her face was pinched with worry. "I just hope we're ready for whatever comes next." As the night stretched on, Sarah found herself unable to sleep. Her mind raced with possibilities. They could find the closure they'd been searching for, but what if they uncovered pain instead? Eventually, sleep eluded her entirely. She pulled out a notebook, flipping to a clean page to jot down every thought and fear that circled in her mind. The quiet of the house settled around her, but she felt a spark igniting within, an odd blend of courage and trepidation. The clock ticked loudly, stretching the hours into an eternity as dawn crept in. A new day. A new chance. "I'll face this head-on," she whispered, the ring gleaming in the soft light of the early morning. But hidden within the depths of her heart was a gnawing fear. What if tomorrow revealed things they weren't prepared to hear, to accept? As the sun began to rise, illuminating the sky with colors of hope, Sarah clutched the notebook tighter. The journey into Pine Valley was unavoidable. They were on the edge of a life-altering moment, waiting for answers that could shatter or strengthen their bond. Could they really come out of this stronger? Or would they find themselves stuck in the old patterns of silence and fear? With a deep breath, Sarah felt the challenge ahead. Either way, tomorrow would change everything. The morning air was crisp as Sarah and Laura drove toward Pine Valley, trees lining the winding roads like sentinels. Their hearts beat together in a shared rhythm of anxiety and anticipation. The ring sat heavily in Sarah's pocket, a silent reminder of the past they were about to confront. "This is it," Laura whispered, her voice barely audible over the soft hum of the engine. "Everything we've been avoiding is right in front of us." "I know," Sarah replied, her fingers tightening around the steering wheel. She forced a smile, though her stomach churned. "But it's also a chance to find out what has been hidden from us." As they approached the sprawling estate, its grandeur felt like an echo from their childhood. The old stone walls, once alive with laughter, now loomed large and foreboding. Memories of summer days spent playing hide-and-seek in the gardens flickered through Sarah's mind, but the laughter was replaced by the weight of nostalgia. "Do you think we'll actually get answers?" Laura asked, her eyes fixed on the estate as they parked. "We can only hope," Sarah replied, her voice steady despite the storm brewing within her. They stepped out of the car, the gravel crunching underfoot, sound amplifying the tension hanging in the air. As they walked toward the front door, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Every creak of the floorboards under their feet, every rustle of leaves in the breeze felt amplified. Inside, the hallway was filled with shadows and silence, as if the house was holding its breath. Family portraits lined the walls, the eyes of their ancestors following them, silently judging the sisters for what lay ahead. They walked deeper into the house, the scent of old wood clinging to the air, a reminder that time had not fully destroyed the house's spirit. In here, a voice broke the silence, and they turned to see a man in a tailored suit, standing near the parlor. His gray hair was neatly combed back, but the hardness in his eyes chilled Sarah to the bone. "I'm Nicholas," he said, his voice smooth yet intimidating. "I represent your grandmother's estate." "Thank you for coming." "Thank you for having us," Sarah replied, forcing a smile. "We wanted to understand everything about the estate and the ring." "Of course," Nicholas said, gesturing toward the parlor. "We have much to discuss." They entered the room, the sunlight streaming in through tall windows casting shadows through the dust motes. Sarah's heart raced as she took a seat, her eyes darting around the room, searching for anything that could prepare her for what came next. Nicholas opened a folder, the sound like thunder in the quiet room. "Your grandmother, she was a remarkable woman. But with that greatness came secrets, some of which pertained to the estate." Sarah exchanged a worried glance with Laura, her palms clammy. "Secrets?" "Yes. The ring you hold carries significance beyond its monetary value. It is tied to our family's history and legacy." He leaned forward, the intensity of his gaze bearing down on them. "It's also the source of a long-standing feud between our families." "What do you mean?" Laura asked, her voice trembling slightly. Nicholas paused for effect, then continued, "There are rumors about the ring being cursed." The air in the room stilled at his words, an invisible weight pressing down. Sarah's breath hitched, the implication hanging in the air like a knife. They had crossed the threshold into a realm of uncertainty, confronting not just their family's history but the very fabric of who they were. What does that mean for us? Sarah asked, her heart racing as she felt the walls closing in. I'm afraid it means you'll need to confront the past to secure your future, Nicholas replied, his tone turning serious. This is an opportunity for reconciliation, but it comes with dangers. A chill passed through Sarah, an unnerving certainty settling over her. What kind of dangers? Dangers buried deep within your family's history, and the wrong decisions can lead to lasting consequences. They sat in silence, grappling with the enormity of Nicholas's words. The clock ticked loudly behind them, each second stretching thin with tension. Are you ready to delve deeper? He finally asked, his eyes darting from one sister to the other. With a deep breath, Sarah felt the weight of her decision. Would they uncover healing or destruction? Let us find out, she said, her voice steadier than she felt, but as the final word left her lips, a sudden crash echoed from outside. Something had shattered, leaving a question hanging in the air. Was it a warning or a sign that they had stepped into territory best left alone? The noise pierced through the heavy tension in the room, causing both sisters to jump. Laura's hands instinctively flew to her mouth, eyes wide with fear. Sarah's heart raced, pounding in her ears, drowning out the steady clock that had been their only companion in the moments prior. Did you hear that? Laura whispered, her voice shaky. Nicholas's demeanor didn't change. He merely raised an eyebrow, the corners of his mouth twitching in disbelief. John must be knocked over something in the garden, he said, irritation flickering across his face. I'll check on him. Their ancestral home seemed to hum with a dark energy, filling Sarah with a growing sense of unease. Wait, she called out as Nicholas began to stride toward the door. What if it's not just an accident? What if something is wrong? He turned, his sharp gaze meeting hers. This family has its fair share of drama, but I assure you things are under control for now. He left, closing the door firmly behind him. Sarah felt the air grow heavy with silence again, pressing in on her like a physical force. She could sense Laura's anxiety, a mirror to her own. What was that crash? Laura asked breathlessly. It sounded like it came from something breaking, Sarah finished, staring at the closed door. The thought of investigating further, unearthing whatever lay beyond that door, sent a chill down her spine. Do you think we should look outside? Laura asked hesitantly. Maybe we could find something about the ring? About Grandma? Taking a steadying breath, Sarah nodded. Yeah. Let us see what is going on. They stepped into the hallway, the shadows enveloping them again. Each step they took felt more deliberate. As they reached the door leading back outside, Sarah hesitated, feeling the weight of every family secret they had yet to uncover. The sudden crash had been a reminder that stepping into their past could lead to unexpected confrontations. Pushing open the door, they were met with a sight that stole the breath from their chests. The once vibrant garden, now overgrown and wild, had something or someone lying in the midst of it. John, the estate gardener, was sprawled on the ground, a broken vase of flowers shattered beside him, petals scattered across the dirt like confetti at a forgotten celebration. What happened? Sarah shouted, rushing forward, her heart thundering. John looked up, his face pale but his eyes filled with a hint of humor. Just a bit of bad luck, ladies. Tripped over a root. The vase wasn't worth much anyway, he chuckled weakly, but the forced laughter rang hollow. As they helped him to his feet, the broken vase spoke volumes. It reminded Sarah of their family history, fragile yet beautiful, easily shattered by secrets and neglect. Are you okay? Laura asked, concern knitting her brows together. Yeah, the old bones are just a bit achy, John replied, brushing dirt from his jeans. But it's about time you girls came back. There are stories you need to hear. Important ones. Sarah's pulse quickened. What do you mean? He looked dead serious as he glanced over his shoulder towards the house, as if ensuring they weren't being overheard. Things have changed a lot in Pine Valley, especially with the estate since your grandmother passed. There are things even Nicholas doesn't want you to know. A shiver of foreboding passed through Sarah, matching the cool breeze that danced through the trees. Like what? With a knowing look, he took a breath and said, things that could change everything you thought you knew about this family and about the ring. As Sarah met Laura's wide eyes, the gravity of his words settled between them, shaking the ground beneath their resolve. Were they prepared to confront whatever awaited them? With urgency gnawing at her, Sarah clenched her fists. "Tell us everything." Just then, an unexpected sound emanated from the house. A voice raising, arguing echoed through the open door. The somber mood shifted again, amplifying their sense of unease. They turned, frozen in place. Who was fighting inside, and what did it mean for the family's past and their uncertain future? The argument grew louder, a jagged symphony of shouts that sliced through the cool evening air. Sarah and Laura exchanged startled glances, their initial urgency morphed into a brewing fear, one that tangled their hearts in knots. The weight of each heated word escaped the house, carrying with it a palpable tension that seemed to envelop them. "Do you think we should go inside?" Laura's voice trembled as she gripped Sarah's arm, her fingers cold and anxious. "Maybe we shouldn't," Sarah started but was interrupted by another crash inside, glass shattering, clamoring across the wooden floor like thunder on a silent night. "No. We have to know," Laura insisted, breaking away from Sarah's side as she began to move toward the door. Without another moment of hesitation, Sarah followed closely behind, compelled by a mix of dread and determination. They stepped through the threshold. The air inside was thick with the scent of old wood and the sharpness of confrontation. As soon as they entered, the sight that met their eyes stole their breath once more. Nicholas stood facing off with their cousin, Matt, his face flushed with rage. The family portrait hung crookedly on the wall, an eerie reflection of their fractured ties. "You have no right to come here and tell us how to handle the estate." Nicholas's voice boomed, anger flashing in his eyes. Matt's reply was quick and sharp, "You're pushing everyone away. What's left to protect if you refuse to discuss the legacy our grandmother left us?" Time halted for Sarah, caught in the crosshairs of family division. She felt her throat constrict as her gaze darted from Nicholas's rigid form to Matt's desperate expression. What legacy? Did it have anything to do with the ring? "Enough," Sarah interjected, stepping between the two men. Her voice crackled as she fought to find strength amidst the chaos. "What is going on?" Both Nicholas and Matt turned their attention toward her, frustration evident in their scowls. "This doesn't concern you, Sarah," Nicholas snapped, but Sarah pressed on, fueled by an urgency that felt almost instinctive. "Maybe it doesn't concern me now, but it will. There's change in the air, and if it means discovering the truth about Grandma's ring, then it's my business." Matt's shoulders relaxed slightly, as if he had finally found an ally. "We're not safe here anymore, Sarah. The ring, it's not just a piece of jewelry. Our grandmother entrusted it with secrets, secrets the family can't keep buried any longer." "Secrets?" Laura echoed, stepping beside Sarah. "What do you mean?" Nicholas's face darkened. "That ring is just a ring. It doesn't hold some kind of magic key to our past. It seems like you've let your imaginations run wild." Matt shook his head. "You're wrong, Nicholas. There are rumors about debts, things that could put this whole estate at risk. That ring connects us to everything." The implications of Matt's words hovered in the air, thick as fog. Sarah felt the ground beneath her shift again. The ring wasn't merely ornamental, it was crucial, a rope tethering them to their family's past, and perhaps to their future. "Wait," Sarah cut in, her eyes darting back and forth. "What kind of debts?" Before Matt could answer, another crash surged from the direction of the living room, an ominous echo that sent a shiver down Sarah's spine. She turned along with the others to see a figure appear in the doorway, silhouetted against the dim light of the hallway. It was a woman, tall and unmistakably familiar. As she stepped into the room, recognition sparked like lightning in Sarah's mind. This was a ghost from their childhood, a figure thought lost forever. "Mom?" Sarah breathed, her heart racing as she stared at the enigmatic figure. How could this be possible? Questions flooded Sarah's mind. What was their mother doing here? Would this reveal change the course of their family's unraveling secrets, or would it throw them deeper into chaos, As their mother's eyes landed on Sarah, a mix of sorrow and hope filled the room, igniting a new fire in the sisters' hearts. "Hey, girls. We need to talk in with that." The tension in the room spun tighter, wrapping them all in a web of uncertainty. "Mom?" Sarah whispered again, her heart pounding in her chest, as if it were trying to escape the overwhelming flood of emotions washing over her. There was disbelief mingled with a deep sense of yearning. This was a moment she'd dreamed of yet never thought she'd experience. Laura's eyes widened, a mixture of excitement and bewilderment crossing her face. "Is it really you?" she managed to say, her voice barely above a breath. Their mother stepped further into the room, her demeanor calm yet intent. "Yes, it's me. I know this is all very sudden, but I promise, there are things you need to understand." Nicholas's anger seemed to falter, replaced by confusion. His shoulders hunched defensively, readying for whatever revelation might follow. "You've been gone so long, why now? What do you want?" "Not what I want, Nicholas," she said, her piercing gaze focusing on him. "What needs to be done? There are secrets about your grandmother's ring, and they are tied to a past that all of you have been trying to keep buried." Sarah felt her breath catch. The ring. The burden everyone had been arguing over. It was more than just family heirloom, it was a bridge to their history, an anchor for their futures. "What do you mean?" Matt asked, his voice tinged with urgency. "What do you know about the debts? About the estate?" Their mother's expression softened, and for a moment, it felt like the room was infused with warmth, a stark contrast to the cold tension that had filled the air moments before. "I came here to protect you. I thought keeping my distance would keep you safe from the turmoil I faced." Laura shook her head slowly, confusion swirling in her eyes. "But Mom, we wanted you here, we needed you." "What do you mean protect us from turmoil?" Their mother hesitated, the weight of her choice pressing heavily on her. "When your grandmother passed, she revealed things to me, things that were meant to be kept from everyone until the time was right. Our family has been entwined in a struggle much larger than we realized." "What kind of struggle?" Sarah pressed, desperation clawing at her chest. "What happened?" There was a flicker of pain in her mother's eyes, a shadow of memories too heavy to bear alone. "I learned of debts that stretched beyond money. There were promises made and deals that went wrong. That ring is the key to it all." Nicholas took a step back, as if the weight of the words physically pushed him away. "This is insane. You're saying the ring holds all this? How can we even trust it?" "You must trust the truth," their mother said, her voice steady yet tinged with urgency. "Trust in what the ring represents for our family. It's a legacy, a reminder of what we valued and how far we've strayed." As the room buzzed with tension, Sarah felt the walls closing in. Everything she thought she knew about her family started to unravel. "Are you saying we're in danger?" Their mother nodded gravely. "Yes. The debts are linked to interests that desire the estate and more. They won't let go easily. We have to act together." Suddenly, an iciness filled the air, knotting Sarah's stomach. They were standing at the precipice of something monumental. Chester, the family's estranged uncle, might be behind it. Could he be trying to take control? A low groan sounded from the back of the house, pulling their attention. The walls around them seemed to mourn, resonating with an unresolved past. What lurked beyond the door now felt all too real. "We need to face this together," their mother said, her determination palpable. "But it will not be easy. It'll be a fight for our future, and the ring is just the beginning." Sarah swallowed hard, her heart racing. "What do we do?" she asked, urgency rushing into her words. But in the depths of her heart, she sensed that this was not just a fight for property, it was a battle for their identity, their family's roots. Just as their mother opened her mouth to speak, the lights flickered overhead and a loud crash echoed from the basement, deep and ominous. "What was that?" Laura shrieked, stepping back. Fear gripped Sarah tightly. The journey to uncover not just the truth about the ring, but about their family was just beginning. The echoes of the past were growing louder, and they would have to confront the specters that hovered in the shadows, but as their fate began to unfold, one question lingered in the air, heavy with implications. What other horrors awaited them below? The sound of the crash echoed in the silence, reverberating through the house like a warning bell. It sent a shiver down Sarah's spine. She and her siblings shared a look of uncertainty, their mother's unwavering gaze cutting through the tension. In that instant, they were no longer just siblings. They were a united front, faced with the unknown. What if it's Chester? Nicholas whispered, his voice trembling. What if he's here for the ring? Their mother shook her head, her eyes fierce. This is not the time to jump to conclusions. We need to remain calm. Whatever is happening down there, we have to confront it together. Laura, still holding onto Sarah's arm, stepped forward. But Mom, you said we're in danger. What do we do? Stay close to me, their mother instructed. If there's one thing I've learned, it's that this family has strength when we're united. Let us go and see what is going on. With hearts pounding, they moved toward the door leading to the basement. The air felt heavier down there, filled with an unsettling energy that seemed alive, pulsing with the secrets it harbored. Sarah could hear the faint creaking of the floorboards beneath their feet, like whispers warning them to turn back, yet they pressed on. The faint light from the stairwell illuminated the narrow passage down, revealing dusty walls and cobwebs that draped like curtains around forgotten corners. As they descended, the heaviness in Sarah's chest grew. She felt as if they were walking into a trap, but she couldn't let fear take control. Not now. When they reached the bottom, the scene that unfolded before them was surreal. The old wooden shelves were overturned, scattered with papers and broken crates. Shadows danced along the walls, and the faint scent of dampness filled the air. The basement was dim, giving it a ghostly atmosphere that sent chills through her. What happened here? Matt murmured as he crouched to examine a document, his brow furrowing with concern. Their mother stepped forward, pulling them all a little closer. This feels like a warning. There are forces at play that we don't fully understand, but I can tell it's tied to that ring. Suddenly, a loud thump echoed from a corner, followed by a rustle. They all froze, adrenaline flooding their bodies, instincts kicking in. Sarah's heart raced as she exchanged frantic glances with her siblings. There it was again, a soft yet distinct noise, like something or someone moving among the debris, and then she saw it, a figure emerging from the shadows. Her stomach dropped. Was it Chester? Had he returned, seeking to reclaim what he felt was his? Who's there? Sarah called, her voice steady despite the pounding of her heart. The figure turned, revealing a face shadowed by the dim light. It drew closer, and Sarah squinted, trying to pierce through the gloom. The presence was ominous yet familiar, stirring emotions she couldn't quite place. Sarah? The voice came through low and hesitant, making her stomach twist again. Is that you? The world spun around her. She knew that voice. Nate? She gasped, realizing her childhood friend, someone she had lost touch with long ago, stood before them looking intense and urgent. What are you doing here? I came to warn you about the ring. As the reality of his arrival hit her, time seemed to stretch, and everything quieted around them. Questions rushed forward, but all Sarah could focus on was the bewildering truth. What had he uncovered? Before he could explain further, footsteps thundered above, heralding a confrontation that loomed ever closer. The moment was slipping through their fingers like the dust swirling in the basement air. What do you mean? Sarah demanded, feeling a surge of vulnerability. What is going to happen? The tension hung thick, as Nate shifted uneasily, glancing back toward the stairs. You need to know it's bigger than all of us. Just then, the door creaked open above them, flooding the basement with light, and Sarah squinted against the brightness. Everyone, stay back. A voice boomed from the top of the stairs. With the figure looming above, as if poised to walk down into the darkness, Sarah's heart hammered in her chest. Her journey was no longer about uncovering the truth of a ring or facing Chester. It was about embracing a fight for her family's survival. What truths would the light reveal, and would they be ready to face it? As the figure stepped into view, Sarah's heart skipped a beat. It was Chester, their estranged uncle, his face hard and determined. A wave of anxiety crashed over the group. Laura clutched Sarah's arm tighter, fear radiating from her. "What are you doing here, Chester?" Sarah demanded, her voice trembling but defiant. The secrets of the ring, the family turmoil, they were closing in on them. Chester descended the stairs slowly, a menacing look in his eyes. "I'm here for what's mine," he said, his voice cold like ice. "That ring belongs to the rightful heir of this family, and I intend to claim what is due." "No," Laura interjected, stepping protectively in front of Sarah. "That ring is part of our family history. We are here to uncover the truth." Chester chuckled darkly. "Truth? Or just the convenient stories you want to tell yourselves?" Nate stepped forward, becoming the unexpected ally. "The ring connects us all. Your threats won't intimidate us. We're done hiding from our family's past." Sarah felt a rush of gratitude for him, his support grounding her in this chaotic moment. "Enough!" their mother yelled, her voice slicing through the tension. "This is not what Grandma would have wanted. We can't let the past dictate our present. We need to come together." Chester scoffed, but for a moment, uncertainty flickered in his eyes. "Together? You think your naive sentiments can change anything? The debts are very real. There will be consequences." "Consequences," Sarah echoed, feeling the weight of his words crash over her. It was true, they were standing on a precipice. "Yes," Chester continued, "and it won't just be about the ring, it'll be about the estate, and possibly even more." The weight of his threat hung in the air, thickening the atmosphere with an unsettling tension. As Sarah took a deep breath, a revelation burst inside her. "Chester, you're not just here for the ring, you want control. You think this is about ownership, but it's about family." He took a step back, surprised by her conviction. "Family?" He spat, his tone laden with disbelief. "You seem to forget how this family turns on each other. There's always a cost." "Then let us set it straight," Laura exclaimed, her courage igniting like a flame. "We can unravel this history if we stand united. We owe it to Grandma and to ourselves." Before Chester could respond, a sudden crash erupted from above, more footsteps, louder and more urgent. Panic surged through Sarah again as her heart raced, her mind spinning. What more chaos awaited them? "Stay close," their mother whispered, regaining her poise. "Face whatever is coming, together." Suddenly, Nate's voice cut through the chaos. "Let us take action. It's time to expose the truth that binds us all instead of letting it tear us apart." Sarah felt small, but the embers of hope flickered within her. They were a family united by trials and tied by love, even if it had been buried deep. "Okay," Sarah said, her voice steady as she stepped forward. "Let us all sit down, clear the air, and understand what we're dealing with. It's time we stopped living in the shadows." Chester narrowed his eyes, hesitating. "You really think you can trust them?" A familiar voice echoed from the top of the stairs. It was Matt, determination in his eyes. "We can't let fear control us any longer. We have the right to understand our legacy. Then let us take it back." Laura shouted, breakthrough energy pulsating in the room. Their mother took a deep breath, nodding. "It's not too late to mend this fractured family. It's time to confront our past and rise together." As they all stood, a unity they had been longing for began to solidify. With fierce resolve, Sarah looked at Chester. "If you truly want to reclaim what's yours, join us. Let us face this past together. Not just for the estate, but for the family." Chester's hardened expression wavered, the ice around his heart beginning to crack. There was something powerful in their shared intent, a shift of energy that reverberated through everyone present. "Fine," Chester snapped, but there was a hint of reluctant acceptance. "I'll hear you out, but be warned, I won't sit quietly if this spirals out of control." As the group gathered around, there was an electric buzz of anticipation. They were stepping dangerously close to the past's brink, ready to face the secrets that waited in the shadows. Together, they would confront the depths of family ties and secrets long buried, hoping to emerge with the truth and a renewed bond ahead. In that moment, surrounded by family and uncertainty, Sarah clutched the ring, its cold, intricate design grounding her. The legacy of their family would no longer haunt them, it would guide them towards reconciliation and strength. As they turned, ready to confront whatever lay ahead, Sarah's heart swelled with hope. The fractured pieces of their family may finally find a way to become whole once more. With a deep breath, they stepped forward into the light. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share.